It says you're live. You're live.
I am live. You are live.
You
we
are
all live.
I was going to tell you to check it on your iPad, but you didn't bring
I didn't.
squat. You're
I
like
have my
that.
phone.
You're like that game. You don't know jack.
I am like that game. That's exactly what I'm like.
You didn't bring jack.
I didn't bring Jack. I didn't know I was supposed to bring Jack. Did someone tell me?
Yep, you should
I
have brought
have
Jack.
Bullet, no Jack.
Oh, this
now.
says Mandalorian season. Why does it still say 7?
Well, that's not our live one.
Oh, that's not the live one. That's why. You got it. Is this? No. Is it you that's playing it?
Yes.
You're playing it? Okay.
I am.
Oh, I'm going to text. Somebody wants to join us in the chat. So
No,
let them know.
no chatting allowed. Not in this
We
Bantha Milk.
are finally live.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm always late.
Yeah, and we stood upstairs and talked for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, but we know that's going to happen anytime.
Right.
Yeah. I should show up a half hour early, not a half hour late.
All right. So, Shell says hi.
Shell.
Hi.
Hi, Shell. What up, Shell? How you doing?
Oh, I need to sign in. How do we sign in here?
Well, you usually enter your username and password.
Avengers Hockey says hi also.
Hello, Avengers Hockey. I hope you were doing well on this
Open
fine
in web
Saturday
browser.
evening. Oh, that was
dear.
loud. Someone
That was loud.
Someone just jerked their car into oncoming traffic.
So
because
did
of that.
I. So
Oh
my goodness.
What is that?
It's little updates here. Say something.
Say something. I'm giving up on you.
There we go. What's IKR? I can't read the
I
words.
know, right?
I know, right?
Come on, bro.
All
You
right,
got to
there
know
we go.
your nomenclature.
Here we go.
Get
All
with
right.
it.
Oh, now I can read the words.
No cap.
There we go. No
Oh,
cap.
no.
Yo, that's cap, yo.
Yeah, bro.
All right, let's bet.
Every time you say something like that, another gray hair just sprouts. It's just how it happens.
Yep,
and
that's
I've
what
been finding
happens.
more and more of them.
That is what happens.
It certainly has nothing to do with my daughter and my career.
Nope. That has nothing to do with it.
It's all using
Come on.
the nomenclature.
This.
Using the nomenclature would be a good band name.
Are we starting with that right away again?
That's right. I forget what one I had last time, but Chris said he really enjoyed it. That's going to annoy me.
I don't know. Luckily, it was in the beginning of the show,
Yeah,
so you won't have
just
to
go
listen to the
and-
whole
yeah.
thing again.
God, that'd be terrible.
That
if I had
would
to
be
listen to
terrible.
The whole
Well,
podcast.
since you don't listen to the podcast at all.
I do. Every now and
okay.
then.
Every now and then, yes.
Yeah, I don't like listening to my voice. It's dumb.
Well, then you just hit play and walk away.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
got to do that. That you can do. All right, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to do this.
Do it.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we meet Din Nick and Din Rob.
Din okay.
Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Our dancing's inspiring.
That's going on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Again, you're really missing out if you're not checking out our live streams because we got some moves. I gotta say, every time our dance moves get a little tighter. I feel like.
That's
it's
right.
just, anyway, we're back. We're Bantha Milk Podcast.
We are
We're
Bantha
here
Milk Podcast.
with Bantha Milk.
We
I already
are
poured
here.
mine because I forgot about that.
Right.
But we're gonna start with the Bantha Milk today because Rob needs a drink. He told me earlier. I got this beer. It's great. It's got a bridge on it, and so I want to drink
It
it.
sure does. So while I tell you all about Heller High Pomegranate
Ooh, I like pomegranate.
from 21st Amendment Brewing, which is all the way out in San Leandro,
21A,
California.
21A.
21A.
Yeah, regular on this podcast.
That's right. They sponsor the Ears Up Network, not
Which-
necessarily us per se,
yeah,
but
but does
Ears Up
any
as
other Ears Up podcast give them as much like credit as we do and drink as many beers as we do?
a whole. And actually buy all the 21A and
we're
talk
all the
about
way
it.
across the country.
We are. Whenever it makes it into my beer distributor liquor store nearby, I make sure I get some just to support our fellow 21A people.
Rob
all
is
the way
having a
over
lot
there.
of trouble opening that 2-1A.
Well, I was waiting. I wanted to
Oh,
get
you
it
gotta
so
get
that
that,
you could
yeah.
hear the pop.
Here we go. Here
So,
it is.
Oh,
yeah,
there
that's a
you
good
go.
one. Yeah. All right. It's
There
not
you
going to
go.
be quite as interesting to look at as last week's
No
beer.
It looks like normal beer, and
So
it's
by the
also
way, I looked up the creamy
Okay.
right? So if you remember, they used to be the candy, the cream, like the cream saver.
Okay.
That's what those are supposed to be going for. So that's what the creamy thing is. It's like it's supposed to be like
it was
a cream
like
saver.
a cream saver candy.
Yeah.
Get it? It was delicious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Shell's got a lot of things. What's 133T speak FTW? I don't know what that means. Unless
Lead
it's
speak?
What?
Lead speak.
Lead speak?
Come on, bro. Have you
And she
even
said
been on the
for
internet?
us old timers, and then she said totes inspired. I know what that means. So all
Using
right.
context clues,
Yeah,
I have figured that one out.
I figured that one
Rob's
out.
got to take his readers off.
I do. So here we go. For as I'm pouring it, you can see it's nice and clear.
It is clear.
I don't have an angle, so it's gonna be all foamy at the
frothy
top,
and
all
foamy.
frothy. Yeah.
Frothy.
And you have your typical bullet over there.
I do. Yeah, this is my go-to. I dig it. It is a delight. It makes my belly nice and warm, especially on this kind of dreary, stormy
Night.
Saturday evening.
Yes.
But yeah, we're back with another. We had our season finale. The finale. And again, we did learn some really strange and confusing Mandalorian naming ritual.
Yeah, which didn't match any other Mandalorian
I'm
naming
sure
ritual.
they're going to like make it make sense somehow. Like Dave Filoni's probably going to like pull out the Uno Reversa card and be like, "Ha! Actually, in Dark freaking Sorcerer's Tales number 6 from 1987, there was a yeah." He's going to figure.
He's
out
going
a
to find
work.
something to loop that into canon from Legend.
Speaking of which, by the way, I have been listening to the audiobooks for the Legends Thrawn series.
Okay.
So I'm in the middle of Heir to the Empire right now. It's great. And like I used to have a problem kind of like with that whole thing because I'm like, well, why even bother? Because what does it matter? This isn't the real stuff anyway. And I'm like, what? It's Star Wars. None of it's real. So
None of it's
whatever.
real. Yeah, it's Star Wars.
You looking for something, buddy?
I'm looking to see if I read that one or not. I have all my Star Wars books
I
behind
see.
me here, and I'm looking at all my different Thrawn books.
I got you.
So I am listening to you.
That was the first Thrawn book that Timothy Zahn wrote, and it's honestly the way that it's been really rad for me is that.
I have this one.
So that's the new Thrawn books, right? That's like the ones that when they rebooted the Disney reboot, they redid the Thrawn books, but there are Thrawn books from the 90s. And Heir to the Empire is the first one, and it takes place like 5 years after the Battle of Endor. And it like so far,
I think I read it. I'm
sure you did. It's a pretty.
Because I enjoyed all the Thrawn books, and
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to read all of them.
Yep. So it's great, and it almost feels like a Marvel thing because Marvel's into this whole multiverse thing, and it's like, oh look, this is how Star Wars would have been if Disney never owned it. So it's like the Star Wars multiverse, but it's really cool. It's got interesting characters. It's got some. It's weird, like just remembering how different the old kind of history was because like they don't call like every bad guy is a dark Jedi.
Okay.
And like they consider that the bad guys consider themselves Jedi too. It's not like I'm a Sith or like no, like yeah, I'm a Jedi, bro. I'm a Jedi master. I'm gonna kill you with the Force. So it's just it's really interesting.
And
to
they
see how
got away
diverted.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, check them out. They're on Audible. I get no money for telling you about that, so I have no promo code for you. But it's a good book.
There you go.
But we're here to talk about the current canon and the Mandalorian season finale, which is how that's actually pronounced.
Finale. Yes. So I had a couple of news articles on the computer that you're looking at, and then I just closed them all. So now I can't find the news articles, and they were from a couple days ago, so I completely forget what they were.
Yeah.
So whatever.
You know what the big news is the Mandalorian
the
season
Mandalorian
finale.
season 3 finale. Yes, that's the big news. But anywho, there were some other fun things. And I can't, for the life of me, man, my brain is shot. I can't remember anything.
It's a Saturday. It's been a long week. The people just want to see us drink and banter.
They sure do.
That's all they care about.
Avengers Hockey said, "I'm embarrassed to be you, to be you right now, Rob." So yeah, I'm embarrassed for me as well that I can't remember.
Why
anything.
is he being you? He shouldn't
I
be
don't
you.
know.
He should be him.
He's embarrassed
You should
for
be
me, I guess. Maybe I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
who
not.
knows?
I think you're doing great.
Well, thank you.
Oh, someone's video chatting with me.
Somebody's video chatting.
Hey, I'm podcasting right now.
Podcasting.
So I can't talk.
Hi,
You
we're
can go ahead
podcasting over here.
You can go ahead and tune in.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
hi,
another
Peggy.
person. There we
All
go.
right. You must have had a good night. See y'all. My wife looks upset. We should get into things.
Hey,
So that was a great episode. Hey, we have spoken. Have a great day.
Have a nice time. All right. Yeah, so Nick's going to go through this as fast as possible now because he's got to get out of here in the next 7 minutes.
You saw that look, right?
I did see. And then, so I see the look, and then he goes, oh boy, look at that look. See ya, goodbye, and he hangs up.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
Yeah,
my bet is it's 9:04, so my bet is for the past hour she's been trying to put Evangeline down.
Oh, and she doesn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, she seldom does.
Nice. Yeah. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to have kids anyway? That's my question. Anywho,
unfortunately.
So Star Wars Day is coming up soon. I forget what day it is.
Probably May the 4th.
Oh yeah, that would be
it.
Yeah, pretty. That's
maybe the 5th.
Maybe
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
I
when
think
is
that's
Cinco
a Star
de
Wars
Mayo
thing.
this year?
I think it's May 6th.
May 6th. Okay, yeah. They
I don't
change
know.
it every year.
It depends on when Easter is.
It's the Friday after Easter, but 2 Fridays sometimes after whatever. Anyway. So, yes. So, hit us up. Well, let's see. We got all our social medias. Facebook. Bantha Milk.
Bantha Milk Podcast. Instagram. Bantha Milk Podcast. Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
Well, we had a blue check, but
Elon decided,
took it away from us. Yeah.
He
said
he was like, he talked to us and he talked to William Shatner specifically. And he was like, listen, y'all,
and
the
Pope,
blue check's gone.
Yeah, the Pope lost his check. We lost our check.
Well, they were really close to putting the state-run or government-funded media brand on us, just like NPR. But I managed to talk him out of it.
Well, that was nice of you to do that because we're not government-run. We're only run by the government of Tatooine.
That's right.
That's right.
The ruling council of Tatooine.
That's
and the
right.
Two Sons.
So we got the Instagram, Facebook. We're on TikTok.
You want to see Rob do some silliness, and apparently maybe soon. Both of us doing some silliness.
I'm going to put all that out there just for you people to watch us.
We're on Facebook in a group. You can come interact.
Check out our group.
Facebook.com/group/Sacred Jedi Texts.
Oh, there was a funny one that Shell said, May the 4th be with you. Thank you, Sheldon. And with you. What was the one? There was somebody posted something really funny in there just recently, and it made me laugh, and I commented on it, and it was a good one. So you definitely want to.
Story.
You definitely want to. There was. First thing that popped up, Sacred Jedi. Oh, that's so funny. Imperial Volkswagen. There's a VW bus on top of Imperial legs, and it's called an Imperial Volkswagen.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a good one. Yep.
Check us out there.
Check us out, Sacred Jedi Text.
Oh, I want to see Johnny Jalopy make that, the Volkswagen.
He could. That would be really
rad.
fun. This is the one that I really like the most. What was the blind guy's name who was force sensitive? And so there's a picture of him, and it says, and this is, we've talked about this 100 times already. What the heck does Stormtrooper armor actually do?
Not much, apparently.
For 40 years, we have not seen it protect a single trooper from meeting their deaths. The armor issue reached an all-time high in Rogue One, where we learn it can't even protect them during a stick fight.
Yep.
Between the armor and the fact that every Death Star they build has a massive weak spot, I think the Empire needs to fire, more likely kill, the entire engineering department.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I thought that was really funny.
Yep.
It was a good one.
Yeah, and it is kind of nice now that we're being introduced to, like, the Death Trooper armor.
Yes.
And, like, it's basically Mandalorian armor, where it's like, oh, look, armor matters now.
Yeah, hey, maybe we should have armor that can protect somehow.
Maybe.
But even still, especially with this episode, we see that the armor, wherever the Beskar isn't, is a very vulnerable spot.
Do you think they just put more Beskar?
More Beskar.
Like, haven't they seen, like, medieval knights?
Yeah.
Those dudes were covered. Like, they could use a little more coverage.
Yeah, and even, like, I don't know if you know this saying, but like how Marines are called leathernecks. Okay. Like one of their nicknames is leathernecks.
Okay.
It's because in World War I, when there was a lot of, before like the guns were as powerful as they were, when there was a lot of like hand-to-hand combat almost. Like the trench warfare, they would just keep getting closer, and then people would just run and just like bayonet them. So they had a thick leather band on their neck to protect their necks from and hopefully from the bayonets and stuff. So that's where they got the nickname Leatherneck from.
Interesting.
So even way back in World War I, we knew the more armor that you have, the better it is.
But to be fair, World War I happened after all this because this all happened a long time ago.
Yeah. So they didn't really learn.
They were very primitive.
Shell said if you put Beskar armor on imps, they'd still miss because they're not good at shooting.
They're not. They're very bad at it.
They're very bad at shooting. Yes. So anyway, all right. So let's
talk some Star Wars. Wait, should we do I guess we should do an ad, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, let's throw an ad in here.
Hey, here's an ad from a company that wants you to buy a product/service, and I think that you should purchase that product/service and support that company/product.
You should, or there might just be a
this might be a weird. Yeah. And if there's a 1 second pause after this and you don't get an ad, you are legally required to send us $10.
That's right.
That's how that works.
At the I was gonna say at the Patreon, but we don't see anything from the Patreon.
No, in the mail, you just put a $10 bill in an envelope. Just write Bantha Milk Podcast on it. They'll know where to get it.
New Jersey, Bantha Milk Podcast, New Jersey.
That's
It'll come right to us. Yep. All right. So here we go. Check out this ad. We'll be right back.
Yes, I will purchase that.
I really like that. That was a good one. Yes.
Yeah. When I purchased that last Tuesday.
Maybe it's for Disney Plus.
The person who I spoke to about purchasing it was very helpful. And then I purchased it, and I've used it to great success.
I'm very happy that you were able to do that.
We are inspired content creators today, Rob.
We are.
We are very clearly pretty tired. I think our chat room has more energy than we do today.
I'm happy with the chat room. I'm happy that there's a bunch of people in there chatting away. So
millions
let's go.
Of them.
Millions and millions of people. All right, so let's break down this episode because I liked it. I thought it was fun.
It got a lot of hate. I feel like people it's a polarizing episode. Some people just did not like it at all. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. Some people also felt that the whole season was a complete waste of time.
Yes, I also disagree.
I thought it was entertaining. I'm happy the way this season ended because with the big reveal at the end, I don't even call it a reveal, but just the armor statements at the very end to Din Djarin and Din Grogu.
Din Grogu.
Din Grogu. It sets us up.
Din Norman.
And Din Kyle and Din Norman.
That's right.
It sets us up for a more exploratory season 4, which I'm happy about. I can see why people didn't like it. They felt that the Mandalorian, and I think even Avengers Hockey said it to me, that the Mandalorian should be the Mandalorian, not the Mandalorians, plural.
You mean like having Grogu around?
No, like there was too many other Mandalorian stuff going on, and we really wanted just like Din was awesome. In the first 2 seasons, it was all about Din. It was all about Kyle.
And it did. I mean, it kind of made him seem more badass.
Yeah.
When everyone is, oh my God, how are we gonna do this? Oh, the Mandalorian can because he's basically a superhero. Well, if everyone's a superhero, no one's a superhero.
Exactly. Yeah, but they're all season 4 coming in 2028. Avengers Hockey said.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky. And Shell said Grogu is adopted. How could you not like this episode?
No, I didn't get that so much because essentially didn't they say like, hey, until you find their biological parents, you are as its parent. So
yeah, in season 1, it was like this is your quest.
This is now your kid until you. Couldn't you just say, all right, well, he's my kid, and like that? It's not like I'm adopting him. I already did.
Yeah, I already did. I already took him under my wing.
He was fostering him.
He was fostering him.
And now
I'm very good at that.
He had a foster fail, just
he did.
like you do.
Yeah. And how could you not have a foster fail? And all of them, yeah. Even they weren't fostered. We were just adopted all new fish. That's now. Also, yeah.
You don't often hear about people adopting fish.
No,
you don't rescue your fish. I can't believe you. You're disgusting.
My favorite type of fish is rescue.
Ooh,
so
I like tilapia.
What's that? What are fish and chips made out of?
I think that's cod.
Cod? That's not bad.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, so we're all the way at the end. My son didn't like the episode. He thought the fight scenes were underwhelming.
See, now, I, on the other hand, as I was watching a army of Mandalorians fly towards an army of Mandalorian stormtroopers with Bo-Katan wielding the Darksaber and clashing with each other, I looked at it and went, I cannot freaking believe we're watching this and this isn't a cartoon.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is so cool that this is live action and and it looked good, man.
And you know what? I think that's I don't want to say it's a generational thing, but your generation, my generation, like I grew up with the first generation of Star Wars where Darth Vader basically just held a stick in his hand and
hold on. Oh, Charlie Horse.
Yeah. You know, and my son grew up with episodes 1, 2, and 3
with
where
Maul doing backflips.
Yeah,
and,
you know, and it was like amazing. So he's like, this is what Star Wars is. This is what TV is.
Yep.
And to go from watching, even when we watched the Clone Wars and Rebels, seeing these characters in cartoon form being able to do all this,
right,
and now seeing it in real life cartoon form,
right,
it definitely looks a lot cooler for us. We're like, wow, because
it's
it's
the most interesting and intriguing imagery in Star Wars. And
like they wouldn't have been able to do this in 1980. There would be 2 guys on strings that they'd be lifting up and down. Me. Yeah,
I got you. Bing, bing, bing.
You know,
bing,
and now we're seeing hundreds of them flying in and out. And Shell said, "Are you comparing Grogu to a fish?" No, we're not comparing Grogu to a fish.
Eats fish.
Grogu eats fish and frogs.
frogs.
But she sent the I think it's a laughing face. So. Yeah, so I can see why the younger kids were just like, whatever, because this is what they've always seen. But for us to be able to see something this massive, even like going into Pixar, when they did one of the movies, I don't remember, I was watching like the behind the scenes of it, but they were like, the computers couldn't handle animating 100 characters at one time. It would just like crash the computers. So then when they did like A Bug's Life, and there was a whole swarm of, and they were like, this is unbelievable that we were able to do this. Right. From their point of view, they thought it was amazing. The kids watching are just like, okay,
there are bugs on
there's bugs, you know, like whatever. So I think we see it like this is so cool because there's all this flying, all this hand-to-hand, hundreds of people flying all over the place.
And by the way, it just kind of seems like bringing a knife to a gunfight when you're flying towards an army shooting at you with the Darksaber and some wrenches.
And you bring
like you're not Jedi, you just have the lightsaber. You can't deflect blaster bolts or anything. Yeah. So maybe you should be shooting first and then bring that out when you're a little closer.
Yeah. So that was a very funny. We'll get to that. Well, let's break it down from the very beginning. Break it down from the beginning, and then we can go. They
got right into it. By the way,
they did.
Like the episode started, I was like, "Hey, here we go."
Here we go. Hi, we're running through a hallway right now, getting ready to fight people. So Bo-Katan's leading while Axe Walls is flying to his ship.
Yeah, and like apparently the laws of jetpack fuel only pertain when you're on
that one planet.
Like that planet's atmosphere really eats up
their
fuel.
up the fuel consumption.
So they can't fly like a couple kilometers to get a bird's nest, but this dude can fly all the way to space.
All the way to space. I also, and the fight scenes, nobody's jetpack during the fight scenes gave out where they were all giving out chasing the bird.
Nope.
Which I was like, okay, if you're gonna put such an emphasis on that in that episode, you should kind of stay true to that in this episode.
And like, aside from that, like the whole thing was like, oh, the planet's messed up. It's so crazy. There's all this storms. Like the dude in his just armor can just fly through all that craziness.
Right through all the craziness, and all that happens is, I'm going
right. Otherwise, he's just like, all right, well, my comp's not working. I'm just going to throw on my radio and just chill.
It was like people walking out of the ocean. They just walked out nice and dry. He went through all that storm, got on the ship, and
he's dry.
And he was dry.
And how is he not freezing?
Or freezing? Yeah.
Like first of all, he's got armor on. I guess that his helmet is airtight or vacuum sealed, but like. His rest of him isn't.
Yeah, his arms underneath the armor is just cloth.
Going through the storm, I'm assuming there's rain. He gets out into the vacuum of space. He would have been frozen.
Right.
Instantly.
Or
incinerated.
Yes.
Depending on the... So I know I'm getting a little bit much here. I'm just saying. A little realism, Star Wars.
Come on, Star Wars. Make it real for us.
I want my space wizards to do real stuff.
To do real stuff. Space wizards fighting against bad guys. I want you doing
actual physics.
With actual physics. Come on. So,
if he were a Jedi, I wouldn't have a problem.
Right,
because he could just
fly with just the Force.
Well, what he does is he duplicates the fuel as he goes.
Right.
It always bothered me that Jedi don't fly.
Right, because they can, and we've seen some Jedi like jump even in the last season of the Clone Wars, like they were jumping really high.
And in Rebels, they would like jump really high, and then they would push them with the Force to make them go.
To make them go even further.
But like Yoda flies because he uses his little scooter thing, and is he using the Force to make that fly?
Is he right?
Because if he's making that fly with the Force, why can't he just do the same thing to himself, or like make his
or
clothes
why
fly?
couldn't he make IG-11 fly?
Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It just seems
whatever. Very interesting. Stupid. That's it. There's so many flaws in this. I'm done.
That's it. Literally unwatchable.
Unwatchable.
It's been great knowing y'all. We've had what is this our 100th episode?
This is our 100th episode.
Wow. What pomp and circumstance we gave it. What fanfare.
100th episode.
Yay.
Okay, moving on. Yay, we did it for 100 episodes. So then back
I've
to
been in this place 100 times.
100 times. You've had enough. So Axe-Wolves is flying to the ship. The stormtroopers are chasing Bo-Katan, and they still can't shoot to save their lives, even though they have cool Beskar armor on.
Listen, man, armor is one thing.
Yeah.
Skills another.
And that's the thing. What's his name? Ryan Airy was saying the Mandalorians have been training with other Mandalorians, and they know how to get around the armor. They know how to use the armor.
And they've also been using the armor their whole lives. Versus these dudes are like, "Yo, I got this sick new armor. Let's go."
And
they're like, they don't know all the settings.
They don't know all.
They didn't read the manual.
No.
They're like, "Hold on, bro. I'm on YouTube watching a tutorial.
Like, wait,
how do I use my flamethrower?
I can get hit right here.
That's not fair.
That's not fair." So, and then after that, Din's being taken a long way to a prison. I was like, "How far away is this prison?"
And then he's just like, "Ha." Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Boom, boom.
That was a fun scene. He like wakes up. He uses the wall.
Yep.
He's kicking around. He beats down 3 troopers, including one using a flamethrower.
Yep.
So flamethrowers were very.
They were roasting him.
They were roasting.
Like, literally just like.
And it's interesting because the armor protects you, but it's metal, so it's going to get hot. Yeah. So I can see how
and
he's
also had some cloth. He had some cloth part that didn't get lit on
fire.
That
didn't get lit on fire at all.
You think it's flame retardant?
It must be. He got it from the firehouse down the street. They were like, "Oh, you see these boots? Can you make me a cape out of that?" Sure, no problem.
Yeah, dude.
So then he looks like, oh no, he's going to meet his maker, and then suddenly, no. So that was fun. Grogu saving him. I do like the way this episode and the last episode and this one combined, where neither Bo-Katan, Din, Kyle, nor Grogu by themselves could win.
Right.
But collectively between the 3 of them, they could do it together.
Because Mandalorians are always stronger together.
Always stronger together, yes. So, and then Grogu saves him, and then he's using the spray Robitussin on him.
That's right.
And he's like, "No, fine, stop it." And he's like, "Well, I saw IG-11 do this before.
This is what you do when you're hurt, bro.
And
I got you."
How many buttons were inside of that little belly piece there? Because there was the yes button, the no button.
He can move.
He's got the joysticks.
Spray.
He's got a spray button. There's got a lot of things going on in there. And then
we'll never know because they unfortunately took his giant mech away and turned him into a nurse, or a cop. Hey, I'm your cop, guys.
Cobb Vanth. It's Cobb Vanth in a costume.
I would watch a buddy cop comedy with Cobb Vanth and IG-11.
IG-11.
I would totally watch that. Just them two, just in one town. I don't want them traveling space. Nope. I just want them like solving problems and just. Like being goofy.
Cobb Vanth being like, "Can I be the bad cop this time?" And IG-11 being like, No.
I love that.
I do. He says, "If we don't take him off getting out, this will never end." Which was very obviously because he keeps, even though this season he wasn't really going after Grogu at all.
Yeah.
Because he had already gotten everything that he needed apparently, but so I don't know, but. Because there was no, even when they took Din Djarin, there was no point where he was like, "Grab the baby." He never said that once.
He was full on war mode. He was like, now I'm just angry at y'all. Now I'm gonna kill y'all.
I'm just gonna kill all of you. I don't care.
And he basically did confirm in this episode what we've all thought is like, oh, he's trying to make clones and he wants to extract the Force from Grogu.
Right.
But we all kind of thought, I guess, it was going to be for Snoke, but it was more for himself.
It was more for his.
Like Project Necromancer is the one.
Yes.
That's like for Snoke / Palpatine.
Yes, and they're not working on that. And also, if he figured out how to use the Force and get Force into his clones.
Yeah, how's he going to do it?
But he didn't tell Project Necromancer guys at all because, of course, in the Imperial world, you don't share your information with anybody else.
But then, like, so if his clone he made, like, had the Force, like, could he transfer his consciousness into it? Like, is that a thing they can do? I know with the Force that's a thing, but, like, this dude...
Yeah, well, he just wanted to rule all of these Force-sensitive clones of himself.
Just be a whole bunch of...
And I thought for sure we were going to see when they took a helmet off of one of the Stormtrooper Mandalorians that who was... I thought there was going to be a bunch of clones in them.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, boy!
Oh, no, chair down.
No!
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what happened?
The locking thing just popped out. I was leaning back too hard.
That's great. You got to check that.
Yeah, that's going on TikTok.
Yeah, man.
So
our blooper reel.
Our blooper reel, exactly. So we never saw, and also going back to the jetpacks not working, it would have been a really cool scene. Some of the people had to have died, even good guys, bad guys, and fallen on a ledge somewhere. So if your jetpack is giving out, I would love to see somebody like land, take their jetpack off and grab theirs and put theirs on and then go back up again. It would just like give you that continuation that you needed from when their jetpacks were failing on them in episode 3 or whatever.
Yeah, and this whole scene and then the scene that comes after with the stormtroopers and the shields, it gave me big video game vibes where, like, you know, it's let's just say we're living a perfect world and there was already a Mandalorian video game, which there should have been. It's stupid.
Right, should have been.
Like, you know, at the end of the game, you're pretty badass. And you've got all these upgrades and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, in the Mandalorian 2, like, you need, like, you know, you can't just be bad, right? So you've got all this stuff, but then you get captured and they take away all your equipment.
They take away all your stuff.
And then, like, you have to fight a couple bosses and learn the moves.
Right.
And then you get them back piece by piece.
Yeah.
And that's what this felt like. It's like, all right, here's these guys. I got to fight them hand by hand. Oh, I won. I got a blaster now. And here's the other guy. Oh, I fight you. Oh, I'm going to get your shield now. Oh, you know, and then it's like every one was like a progressively more difficult thing until the boss encounter.
Right. And like Mando picked up the jetpack at one point in time. Yep. And he also...
Did he ever use that jetpack?
He did as he was fighting Gideon.
Right.
He used it like once or twice to like shoot himself forward.
Right.
But also as he was like running down the hallway, the pistols that he was using weren't his pistols anymore. They were the pistols that the stormtroopers had.
Right.
So he did exactly that, where he was rebuilding himself up as he was going, which would be a perfect plan for a Mandalorian sequel game to the first one.
If only that existed.
And then Shell said the Darksaber went poof as soon as it came out. Well, kind of. Yes, it did go poof, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so Din and Grogu are going to find Gideon, and the rest of the Mandalorians are going to the surface to regroup. Gideon's looking at a giant map of the bunker.
Yep.
And there's 2 dots on the screen. One for Mando and one for
And the one
Grogu.
is green. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah. And like, did he like click some buttons? Like, I don't want to see where green? Any he's like, oh, bad
First
guy.
Of all, that's this particular bad guy's green.
This
His
one's
skin
green.
Is green, so
yes.
let's make that
so let's
dot
make
green.
that dot green.
And then I just want to filter out everyone else in the bunker.
Right. I don't need to know where any of my stormtroopers are. Don't care where any of them are, so that I can maybe help them and say, hey, keep your eyes open, 7, 8, and 9, because they're coming your way. Nope. I'm just gonna have just these 2 dots.
Red and green.
Red and green on this giant map.
It's Christmas time.
So Gideon says, I'll take care of him myself. And this was cool, where you put the helmet on, and it was very Darth Vader-esque.
Yeah, and it's... I while I was watching, I'm like, how come, like, you know, he's like a robot? And then I'm like, I guess it's because he's like, he used the Beskar Mandalorian thing, and then he infused it with, like, his own death... Because in the last season, they were...
the Death Troopers.
They were Death Troopers, but they were droids.
Right.
So he, like, integrated some of that mechanism into his own armor.
Yeah.
Which I guess made him stronger and stuff.
He made like an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I don't know why all the Mandalorians don't do that.
I know. Like, if that technology is there, you know, you would just be ultimate super fighters, because Gideon couldn't defeat any of them. Moff, he couldn't defeat Din Djarin. He couldn't defeat Bo-Katan without it.
Right.
So the fact that he knew how to use this super, maybe it's just so expensive. I don't know.
I mean, it's a lot of Beskar.
It is a lot of Beskar, but so it was cool. So, and then he had he did have the whole ring of horns on his helmet.
I was curious, right? Because again, that's kind of like a death.
It's a
Death
Watch thing. So I think he just wanted to basically create his own Death Watch, or it could even be almost like it was a crown because he wanted to be the king of the planet.
Or maybe he's such a poser that like that's the point. Is like he doesn't even know. Like, oh, those look rad.
Those look rad. I'll do those.
And then like the Mando's like, look at that stupid guy with those horns. He doesn't even know what that means.
He doesn't even know what it means. Going backwards a second here. Speaking of horns, the armorer has the horns on, and we've talked about it numerous times that she's probably a descendant of the Death Watch or was part of Death Watch when it happened because she has the horns the same way that Death Watch did.
And yet we still haven't learned anything about her.
No. And there were so many rumors floating around about last week's episode, The Spies, that she was the other spy.
And that the entire episode, I was like almost annoyed at myself because the entire episode, I was like, oh God, this person's going to do
this is going to be
they're gonna turn him in. They're gonna
turn
on them.
When Axe was in the ship, I thought, he's gonna tell everybody to get in the ship and then he's gonna crash it and kill everybody.
When he told everyone to get out, it almost felt like it was a little weird. Like, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But then it was just like, he's just gonna be rad and fly a freaking Star Destroyer on his own.
On his own, and which, by the way, the captain of the Star Destroyer. Those controls don't control all the guns as well.
Apparently they do.
You can fly a giant Star Destroyer with one person.
The thing is miles long.
Miles long.
And the dude, he literally has like on his armrest, he's just got little dials.
And he's like, all right, and he's like, I'm going to go from flying mode to beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, beep. Now I can control all the guns. Yeah. Now I'm going to go back to flying it again. It was like, it was crazy. He's got skills. So it just made me laugh that, and I was happy that when he said everybody get out, he wasn't trying to be the spy and then destroy them all or whatever. But yeah, we kept waiting to find out who the other spy was because it was the Spies. But then apparently in more biblical terms, because a lot of the titles were biblical titles, the Spies meant the people who were exalted from their planet or from their whatever, like their town,
homeland.
like their homeland, whatever. So it was more of a biblical term of the spies rather than there's multiple people who are going to turn on the people. Anywho,
which is fine. I don't think we need like backstabbings every time and like, my God, look at that. I liked that like this was just a story about all these fractured clans that found a way to make it work again. That being said, we have seen remarkably little Mandalorian in any of the movies that are happen 30 years later. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to all these people.
To see if they figure out a way to annihilate all these people because they're not in the sequels at all. So something bad had to have happened.
There is a Mandalorian flag at Maz Kanata's castle.
Okay.
Like when we first go to Maz's place in Force Awakens, there's billions of freaking flags.
Yeah, one of them is
the Mythosaur skull.
Okay, so. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want them to disappear.
No,
but
it'd be cool to actually see them do something with Mandalorians.
Yeah,
like if you're gonna be doing all this stuff, you might as well do something with them.
And I think because they before this series came out, Boba Fett was just a bounty hunter, and the Mandalorians were just these people who had a lot of infighting.
Right.
And they kind of kept to themselves, except for, little things here or there. Like, they never picked a side.
Right.
So I guess maybe that's how they can justify that we don't see them at all in the later movies, because it has nothing to do with them. So they're in the Outer Rim, so they just don't even bother to whatever. So who knows? Back to the story. So then Mando calls to R5 to help out Skippy.
Good old Skippy.
Where do we even see Mando's ship come in? I thought he came in on the drop ship as well. Did he fly his own? Because suddenly, Skippy was there. Was Skippy there from the first time, and he left him behind when he went to? I don't remember if he was in the Naboo fighter, whatever. But anyway,
he must have been.
So Skippy somehow was back on the planet. But it was fun seeing him be more of the R2 role.
Right.
A little bit braver, but still scared. He's like, I need you to do this. And he's like, wah, 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 wah. Like, I don't want to.
He takes his sweet time about it, though.
Yeah, and he flies down. It was a lot of fun. And then the other thing I thought was really funny, he landed on the left side and then had to go past the doorway to get to the other side. He knew what Mando wanted him to do. Couldn't he have just flown to the right side and alleviated all of that tension
Apparently not.
But whatever, it was fun. So then
we get the little
mouse droid comes
that and we find out that they're essentially like mall cops.
Mall cops. They're all in their Vespas.
Boo, boo.
Bad guy. There's a bad guy
what's
over
funny
here.
is they travel just as fast as the Vespas.
They
in
do.
Book of Boba
They
Fett.
did. They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure did.
I was really hoping at the end of the scene we would get like another R2 in the Revenge of the Sith moment where he like instead of just taking off, he would like blow oil at all of them.
Right, and
light them
blast
on fire.
them all up, light them all on fire.
I guess Skippy is not as equipped as R2.
No, and Skippy's not as mean as they are.
Well, he's a Jedi, so Jedi don't do that.
That's right. And when he flew off, there were two of the little mouse droids that somehow fell off the edge because there's obviously no railings. We don't need railings.
Why would there be?
Why would there be railings? So he does fly in. He does help Mando lift up each of the red Force garage doors.
Right.
Which we see that those aren't just suits there. They're people standing there for hours on end at attention.
Well, you see those people at like the Buckingham Palace who have to stand there and not move. So I guess that's that's just a thing that soldiers got to do every now and then.
That's right.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. Literally just stand there and make sure people don't stick their finger in their nose.
Like distinctly don't do anything.
Right.
Like if you do something, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Yes. So he taps in. He's helping Mando. Mando's fighting the guys one at a time or two at a time, I guess. They're doing all different things. These were good fight scenes as well. And I did like the guys waiting. They're like, we can't get through. Like, somebody open this up. And Skippy's there. Nope, not opening it.
Nope.
And then I wish Skippy would have made like a little sound, like when Mando says, open the next one. And you would hear like, okay, and then like a pop open type of thing.
Right.
Because Mando just knew like the next one's coming. So he was able to slide under, do some crazy Mando stuff to the guys before they could even see that the door was opening.
Yep.
But then he goes through all those, and then we see all the clones.
They must have been having flashbacks because they were all in their back.
They're all in their back to tanks, having flashbacks to
whatever
Book
reason,
of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's right. And for whatever reason, the one opened his eyes. Like I don't understand why they did that.
Right. Yeah, because I'm sure Moff Gideon has walked past her numerous times.
Right.
So why did this one open his eyes? But when he opened it, I don't know. Maybe he opened his eyes because he was having a bad dream. Maybe. And then he scared Grogu. Grogu got scared, and he backed up.
And when you scare Grogu, the entire fandom goes, "No, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't do that."
All those clones had to die.
Yep. So then Mando goes, "Here's the eject button," and he pushed the red eject button, and
they did the opposite of drowning.
They
apparently.
did. They
were in water, fully submerged and just fine. Water was let out, and they said, "I can't breathe.
I don't know how to breathe. I don't know how to do this," and they died. So they killed them all.
Not just the clone men, but the clone women and the clone children.
And the children too.
That's right.
So these are probably children. So yes,
I mean they're clones. They got to be like 10 days old.
Yes.
Mando is confirmed a child killer.
He is. He's a child killer.
Wow.
How dare he?
Unfortunate. Then
in the cutscene, we go to the Mandalorian farm. I'm just reading what Shell wrote in the chat. She said, "Powerful saber, limp, broken." Anyway, I don't know what that means. So then the Mandalorians are showing off their farm.
Yep.
And it was cool because all the plants were from the planet.
Yep.
So it's kind of like
the planet can live again.
Yep. Did you see the pizza plants?
No,
that's
pizza
from
plants?
Yeah, there's pizza plants. That's from WALL-E. Did you watch WALL-E?
I love WALL-E.
Yeah. So at the very end of WALL-E, when they're like, we can grow all our own food. We can grow corn and we can grow pizza. Because they've been up in the spaceship
and
so long
that
they don't realize. No, it does not grow as a crop. So
some of it does.
Yeah, but you have to put it all together. But you can't just grow a pizza.
I would love a pizza tree.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's nothing wrong with
or
a pizza
cheeseburger
tree.
bush.
Cheeseburger.
Or a taco
There
shrub.
you go. Dude, just that's all. Taco,
Just a taco.
shrub, just tacos. I just
How
want
about just a taco?
Just like carrots. Just pull tacos out of the ground.
Right out of the ground.
Yep, and just eat
We
them.
have asparagus in our backyard.
Nice.
If you've never grown asparagus, let me tell you, number one, it's weird because it grows out of the ground and it's like asparagus.
Okay.
So it's just like
there's asparagus.
Asparagus. It's like, okay, that's crazy. And it grows so fast.
Does it really?
Like if you do not pick it, like if you go out and pick it, and if you don't go out and check it the next day to pick it again, the next day after that, you will have overgrown asparagus.
Nice.
And asparagus, when it grows up, and then the little fluffy part at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Once it overgrows, that goes okay, and it like explodes into all these stringy, ridiculous,
No way.
and so you get these ridiculous, gross bushes and everything. So pick your asparagus. It's delicious, by the way.
It's the same thing. Cilantro. I'm sure it does. Yeah. Yes. Have you ever tried to grow cilantro?
I have not.
It's the same thing. If you let it bloom, then it's done. Like it explodes the same way, and then you can't eat. So you got to keep like cutting the blooms off so you get more like leaves of it and stuff. So there we go. On our next podcast, farming with
horticulture with Rob and Nick. Banter, Beskar, and horticulture.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then they're showing off their farm, which is cool because now we're saying, okay, underneath Superman's palace, you can still grow vegetables again.
That's right.
So we can live on this planet because vegetables can be grown. So that's very good. And then Skinny Pete, we talked about him briefly that he was in this episode. His pauldron was did you see it at all? Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad.
He was in this, wasn't he?
Yes.
I didn't even realize that was him.
That was him.
Okay.
His one pauldron was a battle droid's head.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's
rad.
rad.
Yeah, so it's a battle droid's head. So, they're very useful.
Yeah, clearly.
You can use them for pauldrons as well.
Why not?
All the Mandos are... Okay, so then this is when we see all the Mandos dropping in because they regroup.
Right.
And now they're flying in for the big end fight scene that we were talking about. And Bo-Katan leads the way. She pulls out her Darksaber.
And she Peter Pans it.
And she Peter Pans it. Follow me to Neverland.
That's right. Think happy thoughts.
And then, what's the wrestler's name?
Oh, I said the thing.
You said that. Now
you
I gotta cut
you have to
that
edit that out.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, guys.
You just made so much work for me.
It's something.
44 minutes in, I gotta piece this out.
My bad. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
I don't remember her name. Anyway, the wrestler. She pulls out the two guns and she's going down with her two guns. And then, as you said, then we see the armor. Sasha Banks, yes. And then the armor, no weapons, or no guns, no Darksaber. She just decides these tools are all I need.
These tools. I got a wrench and I got a hammer.
A poker?
A poker, yes. And she's like, I'm going to fight in the air with melee weapons.
Let's do this. So it was pretty funny. That just made me laugh. I was like, okay, you just needed almost... If Paz Vizsla was still alive, he would have pulled out his giant Gatling gun. Yep.
And Steve Austin, she said, no, it's not Steve Austin. He's not in Star Wars.
Not Stone Cold.
Not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, Paz Vizsla you would have just seen him kind of like in Ghostbusters when they would pull out their things and don't cross the streams. He would just pull out his giant Gatling gun as he's flying down with his monster gun. Would have been pretty funny.
Unfortunately, he's dead.
He's dead.
Because they could not help him. How could they help him?
They couldn't cut a hole through the front wall to help him. Had to be the back wall. It had to be the back wall to escape.
Yep.
We're going to sacrifice you because you're also the producer and writer of the show.
And you're busy enough.
You're busy enough. You have too many jobs. That's kind of like in The Office why we never see Kelly and Toby because they're the writers of it. So they're like, we need to put you
in the annex.
In the annex so that way it explains why you're not always there. So then they're fighting. It was fun seeing her as the Stormtrooper Olorians were coming up on her. She's just hitting them.
Olorians, I like that.
You like that? I just tagged that now. That's our new shirt, Stormtrooper Olorians. She's just like hitting them with a hammer, and they're just falling and stuff. So that was pretty fun. But so we see thousands of them or hundreds of them fighting back and forth.
And of course, we have the classic Star Wars / anything like arc, right? It's battle starts. This is rad. Good guys are doing so great. Something happens. Uh-oh. Turn of tides. looks like it's lights out for our good guys.
Yeah.
Hope they don't die. Oh, look, Deus Ex Machina. Life is good again. Something happened, and we're all going to win.
Something good happens and saves the day.
That's it. So that's exactly what happens here. They have wrenches, they have lightsabers. Life is good. They're killing things, and all of a sudden, the lightsaber gets crushed.
Yeah.
Din Djarin gets distracted because Grogu gets attacked by Praetorian guards, which is so silly.
It was fun. I liked it.
That's the one scene that I saw a lot of people complaining about.
Okay.
Well, not the one, but that is one. But it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
It was not. It didn't take me out at all. It was silly seeing Yoda or Grogu up there going deep, 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 ah!
So I will say this: when Din Djarin was being held down by the Praetorian guards, and he was just about to eat it, and then Grogu goes, "Hey, I'm over here. Come get me." And then in his stop-motion IG unit, he slowly runs off. Then the three guys couldn't catch him right away for some unknown reason. Then they closed the door on him. For a split second, I was like, I know this is not going to happen, but are they going to kill Grogu?
Right.
Is he going to eat it right now?
Wouldn't that be my God, people would lose it.
They would have lost it. So then it was cool. He did make IG-11's arms in front of him to protect him. Yeah. So as they're using their force weapons, sticks, whatever, not lightsabers, light sticks. Yeah. And so his IG unit's protecting him until he knocks him down. Then he does
a flippy flip.
Does a flippy flip.
The classic Yoda flippy flip.
The classic Yoda flippy flop. And then he's just running around up on top.
And they're almost comically trying to.
Yeah, I can't reach you.
It's like Dunstan checks in from the 90s, trying to get the monkey out of the hotel.
Here. Nope, not gonna do it. So and then it was fun because then they're like, okay, well, we can't reach you, so we'll just chop this down because we have these light sticks. So they start, and then once he giggled, I was like, okay. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, they're not going to have him giggling and then
right, and then he
chop
meets his
ears
maker.
off and throw him off a freaking cliff.
So they're fighting. They knock him down. He falls down. The one bar's on top of him. He's using the force to hold it up away from him just a little bit. Din comes in. He starts shooting him. I did like this scene because he shot him in the back armor, which stunned him a little bit. So you could see that the armor was still doing its job. But Din was doing a lot of interesting shots. He was shooting down into their feet, which makes a lot of sense because the boots, who would put a lot of armor on your boots when you don't expect people to be able to shoot your feet. So I did appreciate the thought into the fight scene. Okay, if he just keeps shooting into their chest, they're just gonna Superman it and just be like, what else you got? So that was fun, and then. This is the part my son didn't like. Grogu was, shooting him away with the Force, but he wasn't pushing him far. He was just enough to just knock him off balance.
Right.
And he was like, if you're going to use the Force, use the Force. Or are you trying to say that he's weak with the Force? Because then at the end we see he's
not like he's finished his training.
Right, but still.
And his forte has always been defense in times of utmost need,
okay.
I don't think I've ever seen him as we see him get stronger for sure. He's definitely more agile and definitely more trained, but the only times we've ever seen him really do some stuff, crazy stuff, is when I got to do this now or else I or someone I love is going to die.
Right.
So when the Mudhorn happened in the first season, when he was about to, kill Din, it happened. And then in whatever season where they're trapped in the bar and there's the flame trooper, he does what he essentially does here in that.
Yeah.
But we've also seen that it's gotten stronger. He was able to hold this bubble
right
for a long time at the end of this, and as he's doing it, I'm going, I know he's going to fall on his butt after this. They're not going to make him do this and not have him fall on his butt like a cute little baby.
Right. But as you see, even when he fell on his butt, where before
he was
he would pass out, but now he's like, oh, man, it's a workout.
I need a schwitz.
I need a schwitz. So they're constantly like helping each other out. He's doing this, and then when they're about to go for Grogu, then Din saves them again, and so it was fun watching the two of them fight together. There was one part when Grogu was laying down and Din slid. He got like pushed over next to him. I just wanted him, like that's like a buddy cop comedy thing where like he's like, "Oh, you gonna help me out here at all?" or anything like that. Like that's. I wanted him to say something right there, like something stupid. It would
have been pretty Star Warsy too.
Yeah, it would be. It would be very Han Solo-ish for him to like slide over and be like,
"Help here,
little help here, kid." Yeah. You know, like come on.
Don't stress yourself. Don't strain yourself or anything.
Don't strain. Yeah, just sit here. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah. You have all these force powers, and you're just sitting here doing nothing. That's fine. So then Mando defeats the 3 Praetorian guards, and then he is going back to fight Moff Gideon again, which I don't know what Moff Gideon was doing while all this was going on. He's just, I'll wait over here for you to come out. I know you're either going to die or come get me, and I'll be ready. And then Bo-Katan comes down, and this was like a little bit before, but she goes, "Go save your kid." How did she know that the kid was in danger?
Smart chick.
She's a smart chick. I'm laying it out here now. She's also force sensitive.
I would.
And then she can, sense that Grogu was in danger because she's force sensitive. That's what I'm going with.
I mean, listen, anything in Star Wars can be explained by that.
That's right. It's not plot armor or anything. It's all force sensitive.
The force is plot armor.
That's right. That's
the only thing stronger than plot armor and Beskar is the force.
So then we talked about it earlier. I wrote down Gideon's armor is like Iron Man's armor.
Sure is.
He was able to, and he even did the Batman versus Superman, where Superman was throwing the punch and he catches it.
Yep.
Which he does that to Din Djarin. Then he does it again to Bo-Katan, and this is when he breaks the Darksaber. Yeah. But if you look, he's just wearing a regular glove. Like, if his hand even had armor on it, I could say, okay, they have the things hidden inside of it, but he just has a regular glove. So that's how I know Star Wars is fake.
That's it. It's all going down. It's Kathleen Kennedy, really.
Kathleen Kennedy, she blew it, yeah.
Can't believe this.
Oh, she said that, I don't know if she said it, but there was some website that said that that maybe Star Wars will, something about Star Wars fighting with Marvel, and that they need to get away from Disney or something like that. So she's trying to take them away from Disney, but Disney paid billions of dollars for it. They're not going to sell it off to somebody else again. But anywho, whatever. Go ahead, Kathleen Kennedy. You go. You do you, Kathleen Kennedy.
Do it.
It was in our group chat. They wrote this. Oh, here it is. I'll tell you what it says right now. Disney selling Star Wars? ? No. This is from Comic Book News. Kathleen Kennedy throws Kevin Feige Marvel under the bus.
I did see that article, yeah.
Yes. So whatever. Kathleen Kennedy. That's what she does.
That's what she does.
She just messes up. She's the brainchild behind the Vespacine.
We don't like that.
We don't like that. So back to the fight. So Grogu's fighting. Bo-Katan is now fighting. They're Darksaber versus he has his own Jedi light stick. It's not a lightsaber, but he has his own Jedi light stick. They're fighting. He breaks the Darksaber and he says, "Oh, you Mandalorians, you like your trinkets. Now Mandalore will fall." And that's when she says the line that you said earlier today, right. Mandalorians are stronger together.
And then they're like, "Let's do it." And then it is all just like one of those scenes where like the music starts playing. I was like, "Oh gosh, I forgot there were 3 of you and 1 of me."
Yeah. Oh no. And back to the music. Actually, it was drastically different this season.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It was a different writer, I think.
It was a different musician. Yeah, it wasn't Boris
Johnson.
That's
the former British Prime Minister.
He's a good musician also.
I've heard that.
I don't know. I liked the old music because he brought in all these strange instruments. He had all different what are those things called? The
recorders and stuff.
Recorders, different size recorders.
The only time this season that the music really like caught my attention was when I heard one of the old themes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I was like, oh, I like that.
And even when they did it, there was like one moment where you heard the deeper recorder doing do 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 do, but then it was all it sounded more like a regular movie soundtrack,
right? Than this
rather
kind of
than
weird
this weird Mandalorian soundtrack from the first 2 seasons. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I wish that I don't know what happened. I don't know
think
why.
the music was bad.
It wasn't bad.
But I never we're here at the end of the season and none of the episodes was there a moment where I wanted to talk about the music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you're a musician,
Right.
so it's like, oh. But anyway, I also wrote down here how rocket powered jets are so much stronger than they were 3 episodes ago.
Sure.
Gideon and Bo-Katan are fighting, shooting in the feet. Oh, and then why did Axe have to take out the base? I didn't understand that, other than they needed a reason to have Grogu make a fire shield around themselves.
I don't know, man.
I
think maybe he was alone in that ship, so he didn't really know what was going on in the battle. So he just kind of was guessing.
Right,
was
I'm gonna save the day by blowing everybody.
Here I come.
Here I come.
And they're like, oh, God, we have this.
We have it. We got it under control.
Get out of here, guys.
Dumbass
up there is driving his truck into the freaking building.
Into the building. So are you happy that the Darksaber is broken and destroyed?
I don't know if I'm happy about it. It doesn't bother me necessarily. I do like in Star Wars, I like, things that have a history and things that you're like, oh man, that was the thing that such and such had.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gone.
Okay.
We didn't see them throw it off a cliff or anything, did we?
No.
It
just landed there and it was just cracked and bent.
Just like the Skywalker lightsaber was.
Yeah.
And there happen to be a couple Jedi around that probably can help fix that.
Fix it, yeah.
So I'm betting we see it again, but I mean, I like that they don't care that it's
right.
You know what I mean? The symbolism behind it of, we've moved past just thinking that this thing makes
this is the only thing. Yes.
I like that symbolism, but I hope we see it again, just because it's such a cool object.
It is a cool object.
Hands.
I hope, like you said, we see the new symbolism now that says we don't need this.
Right.
And I hope that we can stay with that. And I hope that nobody else somehow picks it up and then says that they're now the rightful heir to Mandalore and it starts a whole new thing. Because
I feel like we've moved beyond that.
Yeah, because that's for thousands of years. That's what the Mandalorians have always been fighting with themselves. And now we kind of see that all of these 3 separate sects are all together now and they're able to work as one unit. And that should make them a lot better.
Yep.
But I can see that being an example of why we don't see the Mandalorians in future movies, that somebody picks it up and then they're all divided again and then that's the end of the Mandalorians as we know them.
It certainly could be that way. I feel like that would almost cheapen, again, the growth that
we've gotten.
Is symbolized by its destruction and by what happened. It would just seem like, hey, look at all this, look what we did, and we need to somehow continue the plot. Darksaber, let's make you relevant again.
Yeah.
I mean, but it doesn't mean they couldn't make it work. But I feel like I'm just hoping that this was their first step towards realize. Again, this is just one thing, one stupid dogmatic thing they follow. Maybe the next one is all these people will be able to take their helmets off, and it's like the way is changing.
It's changing, sure. And I did like all the Mandalorian history that we learned in this season. It was fun because they are such a mysterious group that now that we know that there are so many different versions of them, just like the religions and stuff like that. When Bo's ship, a couple hundred that showed up at the end. Was Bo's ship one of the couple hundred that showed up at the end of Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, I don't know.
There was the
Ghost.
There was that whole wall of all those ships.
Right. I'm trying to think of one.
There was one similar to it, but their ships were also stolen from Imperials, so that somebody else could have stolen it as well. So it doesn't. We didn't see the giant mythosaur skull painting on the bottom of a ship to see that in fact it was a Mandalorian ship. That's your boy Chris.
What?
He's saying this. Have we confirmed that no Mandalorians were at that last battle? We didn't see any Mandalorians in the movies, so
Which last battle?
The one that he's talking about where all the ships showed up to fight off the.
Well, again, I don't think we've seen anything to note it, but we do know that the Ghost was there. We do know that Sabine Wren
was
used
there.
to be on the Ghost.
Yeah.
So it is conceivable that Sabine might have been on the Ghost with Hera.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we've gotten any concrete evidence that
any of those
Mandalorians were involved. I would be willing to bet that over the course of the next however many years, as we continue to delve into that, we'll find that out.
Right.
And like 5 years from now, we'll be watching like The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker, and that scene will come on, and we'll be like, "Oh my gosh, look, that's that ship."
There it is. There's that ship.
Because that's what they do.
Because that was the big thing when we saw the Ghost. Everybody was like, "It's the Ghost. You can see the Ghost."
But knowing Dave Filoni, he has all these ships, and he's gonna like just throw open this thing and be like, "All right, for our next show, that's gonna be the ship we use."
Yeah.
And so that way, in 5 years, we'll be like, "Oh, look, see, he was there."
He was there. Yeah, exactly. And that's what he pulls it all together that way. So then X-Wolves goes down, blows everything up. You see all the Mandalorians flying out because they know, and suddenly,
and after
for some reason,
enormous battle wherein they were flying most of the time.
Yes.
Blessedly, they still have enough fuel.
To fly out of there and get far away from the explosion. And then all that's left in the cave is, and there was a lot of sliding at the very end. Grogu did a little sliding when he pushed the lightsaber stick away.
Yep.
And then Mando slid in, which I can only imagine not being comfortable sliding metal on that concrete floor or whatever, as he's shooting, pew, 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 trying to protect Grogu from Moff Gideon. Then Bo-Katan slides in with her shield, her small shield that protects her forearm.
And as this is happening, Pagan's sitting next to me going, "What is that shield going to do, bro? What is that shield going to do?
How's that one little shield going to protect?"
And then we get the shot that we all knew was going to happen, where Grogu is holding everything back, and Grogu's just like, "All right, y'all, I got this. You can put the stupid shield away.
Put the shield away.
Right? Like,
your little shield is doing
yourself.
nothing." Yes. And we see Moff Gideon in flames.
Incinerate. He's gone.
Once again, it's Star Wars. We didn't see his body at the end.
Remarkably, he died very similarly to the way he died in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Which is kind of interesting.
I wonder if
there's a great edit that I saw of, have you watched Breaking Bad?
Oh, yeah.
So, that scene is Tuco ringing his bell.
Yes.
And he goes, "No!" There's a great cut of literally just that scene with his face, but then Grogu going, "No. No. And he goes, "No."
And he blows him up.
It's great.
That is awesome. So then that ends that scene. Then the very next scene we see is the Great Forge.
Right.
And
they're relighting it.
They're relighting
the
forge.
This upstairs, right?
Yeah, which was really, really cool. It was fun seeing
with
that.
the space torch.
With the space torch.
I love that even torches have to have some sort of mechanism to it.
Yeah, I was waiting for like the lightsaber to pop out of the torch because it almost looked like a lightsaber, but it was a giant space torch. So they relight the forge. Then little Vizsla gets rebaptized because he was interrupted the first time.
Yep.
By some
bird.
No, this was the lizard.
Oh, the big lizard. That's right.
Turtle lizard that came and attacked them. Then Din Djarin goes, "I want my son to be baptized too." Well, he's not your son. Well,
I thought he was.
No. His parents are somewhere or dead. Then
you didn't hand in the official paperwork. It was actually a 539C form you needed to fill
out.
The
B form.
So you're gonna need to do that in triplicate and get it notarized.
The armor was so the way I am when the kids ask me, "Can I go to the bathroom?"
I don't know.
Can you? They're like, and like some of the kids, like they smile and they laugh, and then they go, "May I go to the bathroom?" And then I just stare at them and I'm like, they're like, "I said may." I go, "There's one more word you're missing." And then please. Now. Yeah, now. Let's go, old man. Let me go. But she was the same way.
Yeah.
Well, you're not his dad. Well, can I be his dad?
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad. Well, can I be his dad?
This is the way.
That's what I wanted. This is the way.
You said the magic word.
Now you said the magic word. Yeah, you're his dad. Done.
That's all you had to say.
So now he adopts him, and then she says, "Your new surname is Din Grogu," which doesn't match.
Sir mean like at the end?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it should have been Grogu Djarin.
Now, Din Grogu does sound cool. Like there's no doubting that Din Grogu sounds cooler than Grogu Djarin.
Yes.
I do hope they just give us a better explanation.
And it is much easier to say because even like Paz Vizsla, Pre Vizsla,
Right.
and then whatever the kid's name is, it's something Vizsla.
Right.
It's not Paz George, it's George Vizsla.
Right, George Vizsla.
So good old George Vizsla. That's a very Mandalorian name.
A proud heritage behind that Mandalorian name.
So
it's a family name.
It's a family name. So everybody is up in arms about the Din Grogu.
I'm not up in arms about it. I'm just a little confused by it.
Just confused.
But again, I like it better than Grogu Jaren.
Yeah,
like,
Grogu Jaren is so much harder to say. So I'm sure the writers were like, well, it's Grogu Jaren. That's so hard to say. All right, well, how about if we say Din Grogu?
Ooh, that sounds good.
That sounds better.
Rad.
Yeah, we'll do that instead. So then everybody's happy. And did you notice all the Mandalorians at the ceremony were all wearing their helmets, which was nice. It was very, very symbolic of them to all chip in and say, okay, we're all going to wear our helmets. Yeah. I did like this scene. It reminded me a lot of the end of A New Hope when all of the and all the people are all standing there and they're all lined up. And it's like you see the first row of real people, and then all the rest of them are just cardboard cutouts of everybody else.
I do like their silly little applause thing.
The ting of their forearms banging against each other.
And all in time, too. They're very rhythmic, these Mandalorian folk.
Can you imagine Din does it, and he hits the button for the whistling bluebirds?
Like 8 people die. My bad.
I'm sorry,
guys.
It would be like Urkel, Mandalorian Urkel. Did I do that?
I would pay to see that movie.
I
would watch that all day.
The armor would have the overalls.
Yes.
The suspenders would be holding up his pants. It would be really funny.
Yeah, and Cara Dune could be Eddie.
She could show up. And then you would have to have the dad would just show up.
Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow would just be there.
I would love for that actor to be in Star Wars.
As a Mandalorian or just anywhere?
Anywhere in Star Wars.
In Star Wars.
Like an X-Wing fighter or something like
that.
You know, just like with a helmet on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got Carl Winslow. and that's it.
And that's it. And
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? I was a big fan of Urkel when I was a kid.
You were a big fan.
Big Family Matters fan.
Big Family Matters fan. So then,
whatever happened to predictability? It's a great theme song.
It is a good theme song.
They don't make theme songs like that anymore.
They don't.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one, but it doesn't have the same fun.
Remember, Fett.
Fett.
The worst.
All right,
everything about that show sucked. I'm sorry.
Fett. Yeah. What are the words in the Boba Fett theme song? I think it's Fett.
I think you're right.
And that's it. That's all there is. Yeah. Good jobs. So then the armorer now sets him up for season 4, which is what I like.
Yep.
When she says you have to take Grogu on quest to go on his many journeys.
Yep.
And then the only way to do this is to incorporate the people who would have had their own show but got canceled.
All right.
So they're like,
I did hear Cara Dune got recast.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's confirmed.
If that's confirmed or not?
Might be something to look into because we might be seeing more Cara Dune.
Maybe it's Cosby's new wife is the new Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Because, or even, I'll go way back to shows that I was watching.
Say Cosby?
Yeah, Bill Cosby.
Right.
Wasn't the Cosby Show that the wife left?
Well, it was, I think, the Cosby Show and also Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, that's what it was. Fresh Prince's mom, yes.
Because actually they broke the fourth wall in like one of the seasons, and Will Smith in the show was like, "Who's playing the mom this season?"
Yeah. So I take that back. It was Fresh Prince's mom, but then
I think Family Matters had the same thing. I think there was one of the characters that was recast. They did that a lot in the 90s.
Yeah, and even Roseanne.
Yeah,
the one girl left, and they just recasted her with somebody else.
Well, they damn near had to recast Roseanne.
And then they recasted Roseanne, but then also it was funny when they started the new Roseanne before Roseanne went crazy, and then they had to
right that time before Roseanne Barr was crazy.
Right, yes, that 1 week.
I remember that time.
You remember that? Yes. But they had the final Becky was part of the show, but then the original Becky was a different character in the new series.
Oh, Wait. Because Sarah Chalk. That's right. Because Sarah. You ever watch Scrubs?
Yeah.
Sarah Chalk is in Scrubs, and she was the new Becky.
Yeah.
And then she came back for the reboot, I think.
Right.
But yeah, there was a different Becky.
There was an old Becky, and so in the reboot, the old Becky was a different character.
Yeah.
So she was still in it, and I think they made a couple of jokes in the very beginning about it as well. Just like when they did Fuller House.
Fuller House, yeah.
They made one comment like, "Where's what's the twins' name?"
Nikki.
No.
Oh, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Whatever. What was her name?
Michelle.
Michelle. They're like, "Where's Michelle?" And then everybody just like looks at the camera, and they said something like, she's working on their fashion career or something like that.
Right, like very wink, wink.
Very wink, wink. Like we tried to get either one of them, and neither one of them wanted to do it. So whatever. I mean,
they're doing
look,
just fine themselves.
they made millions
if not more.
on that direct to VHS shows that they were making after the show was over.
But even like I think they're making much more money now than they ever did.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
They've got actually very successful as careers post
very
Full House.
Yes, they don't need the show.
They're not quite like who's the girl who played Stephanie? She had a rough go.
Oh yeah, she did.
She has had a rough life.
She's very happy that she now has constant work.
Yes. I'm sure.
Anywho, back to Star Wars.
Join us on our next episode when we talk about other 90s
all
sitcoms.
90s sitcoms, all the time.
That's right. We'll be on Step by Step, day by day. I watched a lot of TGIF when I was a kid.
So did I, but I was not a kid.
I was a kid.
I was a teenager and a college player. But anyway.
Oh, man, I can't imagine like being in college during TGIF. Like drinking and watching Urkel.
Drinking and watching Urkel. Yeah, it's very awkward. So back to the show. So then we get the line where she says, "Get them, go to your mission," which is awesome because now season 4 looks like it's going to be back to what season 2 was more of, where they're going all these different places. And now I'm looking forward to not expecting more than him being the hedge knight, like you said. Like I was expecting more from season 3, but now that we know that that's what the path is, it'll be good. I'm sure there will be some sort of major story arc of some major baddie, maybe Thrawn, maybe not. Who knows how they're.
I think that all kind of depends on what happens in Ahsoka.
Yeah,
we'll probably see like how that's going to tie in
and how it ties in or whatever. I know Filoni was very disappointed in himself when the big Grogu reveal was in Book of Boba Fett, so I don't see Ahsoka having a whole Mandalorian episode.
Yeah, save the Mandalorian stories for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, they did meet, so maybe they will cross paths.
Right.
But I see him being more of a support figure if he's in any episodes of Ahsoka, rather than a whole episode about him leading away from Ahsoka.
Sure.
And then
he gets his plot of land.
He meets with the space cops and,
That's right.
And he says,
and I was really sad we didn't see Zeb this time.
No
the same
Zeb.
Bar we saw Zeb at.
Yeah, but Dave Filoni was in the background. The other director, what was her name? The girl director. She was also in the background. Deborah Chow was in the background. Couple guys were playing space pool or whatever it was, space chess in the corner and stuff. Yeah, it would have been nice to see Zeb, but I'm sure Zeb would have cost way too much money because
CGI bill.
Yeah, the CGI bill's a lot, so that's why we didn't see him again.
But they had their little, hey, I'm gonna work for you. Why would we do that? Because
it's a good idea. You can pay me under the table, and I can do all the bad things that you guys can't do because you have politics and red tape that you have to go through. Well, maybe I'll think about it. You already did.
Yeah.
That was you already did. You know you did it already. You know.
Like, bro, please.
Yeah.
You got no options. I'm your only option. I'll see you outside. And I'm going to take this robot head with me. That guy's mine.
It's
not even this dude's bar.
No.
Like
he's
I
just
just
a
come
patron.
here and I drink. And I'm like, sorry, lady, this dude says I have to give him your robot head.
Your robot head. I don't know why but here's you go.
$20.
Here's $20 for your robot head. And then we see the very cute, we see the Marshal, which is not Cobb Vanth, which would have been cool, but He's apparently too busy. So we see the Marshal instead of Cobb Vanth. Marshal IG-11, all painted up with his red stripes and stuff. Yep. He was looking very dapper. And everybody was like really close to him, considering he's an assassin droid who, has gone mad twice already.
But he seems like a good guy.
He seems like a good guy. So yeah, so we got our assassin droid protecting the people of Navarro.
And then we get the silliest ending ever.
This very, very Western trope.
And that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly, again, you can't. If you like The Mandalorian in season 1 and 2, you can't be mad at it.
Right.
Because it's so cheesy.
It's so cheesy Western.
Because it is so, like, exactly what they've been doing the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Like, it is a classic ending.
It's just like
it
episode...
took me off guard.
Okay.
Like, I was surprised by it, and I was kind of like, oh, it's over like that. Okay. Because I was expecting, like something to tie us over to the next episode,
right.
Next season. But they put a nice, tight little bow on this.
Yep.
And they could never do The Mandalorian again, and it would be not fine, but, like...
But it would be complete.
Yeah, like
it would be complete.
They didn't set any cliffhangers.
No, there's no cliffhangers. There was 6 minutes of names after this,
and nothing else.
And I said, okay, there's 6 minutes left. There has to be a cutscene after this. I kept fast forwarding. Unfortunately, fast forwarding through all the names. The first 2 minutes were in English. The next 4 minutes were in every other language in the world. Yep. It was the same thing all over again.
They always have 7 minutes worth of credits.
And I'm like, okay, here we go, here we go. And then just the ad for Watch Andor. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, nothing setting us up for season 4. Or even, it would have been cool just to see a shadow and then Ahsoka's blades open up, right. And you're just like, yes, that's what's coming next. That's the next thing. But there was nothing.
Just
frog, boink, and that's the end of it.
Which was adorable and
it
cheesy.
Was adorable and cheesy, and it was fun, and it reminded me a lot of episode 2. I want to say when they were on the blue planet with the AT-ST attacking them. Very, very Western trope, very just like that. So
this is probably the least Western season we've had so far, with the least Western influence. So it was nice to see them kind of remember. Hey, this is what built us. This is where we started.
Yeah. So it was good. I liked it. I would give it an A.
Yep. We didn't get any A+ episodes this season.
No, there weren't any
A+
episodes.
I mean, but again. You were never going to top Luke Skywalker dismantling a whole bunch of battle droids.
All the battle droids that nobody else could beat.
Yeah. And I've been saying that. We've been talking about that all season. It's like, all right, we'll see what they do with the last episode, but I don't see how they could possibly top last season. They didn't, and that's fine.
And there was no Chewbacca.
And they didn't try to.
And that's
fine. I'm glad they didn't try to top it. It's not like they have to keep upping the ante.
Right. You didn't need to bring in somebody else, because who else could you bring in who would be better than Luke Skywalker?
Mace Windu would pretty
Mace Windu would be cool.
I'm waiting for the day that Mace Windu walks back on set, and we're all like, "Oh my God, he's alive!"
Or even we didn't see anything else about Mando or Grogu's past with what was his name?
The Sabered Hand. What is his name? Not Pelion. That's gonna annoy me. Anyway,
yeah, we had him for 10 minutes.
Jar
Jar. Yes, the reincarnation of Jar Jar. And it was great bringing him back, but...
Yeah, I thought we would see, because he said, I'm going to get you to safety. I thought we'd then see what happened after that.
Yeah,
but it was just
so...
We got him to safety, I guess.
We just need Grogu. And the other thing, they made the Grogu chest piece.
Yeah, we never saw it get shot.
And we never saw...
We were sure it would.
For sure he would have got shot, and, oh no, he's dead. And then it was just this myth of
sat
story.
under his shirt the entire season.
Yeah, the whole time. We're just weighing him down the whole season, so... but other than that, it was great. I liked it. It was fun. I would go back and rewatch all 3 seasons again before I would go back and just rewatch season 3. Yeah. Because while season 3 was fun, it was a lot of B episodes and A- episodes, but none of them that were
blow my socks off.
Yeah, blow my socks off the way season 1 and season 2 was. And I think that was because there were so many Western tropes and, like we said, Luke Skywalker and all that good stuff. So, but that is that. So that is our recap of the season finale.
Yeah, so you can expect within the next week or two, we'll probably come back out with our full season kind of scope where we thought it was going to go, where it did actually go, and probably talk about the Ahsoka trailer as well.
Yep. And I have a couple of ideas also. I'll share with you
Rob's
after the show. I got ideas.
That is a scary thing.
It is a scary thing.
But I'm falling asleep, and my wife was angry an hour ago, so we're gonna call it a night here.
Well, let's do that.
It's been a good one. Check out everything on social medias.
Yep.
Rob's beard is still growing strong.
Still growing strong.
And from all of us here at